Hello everyone, I'm a Broken Robot. As a gamer myself and someone who's been in and out of content creation for most of my adult robotic life, let me tell you, there's nothing sadder than watching an online gaming community die. From the Fallout shelter in Mino becoming a literal wasteland to Knockout City being unceremonially taken offline because it wasn't printing money that EA desired, many gaming communities and platforms have risen and fallen over the years. While for communities like Fallout Shelter and Mino, a simple lack of traffic to the social hub naturally led to the community dying, or in the case of Knockout City's community, a lack of unity among players made it easy as lifting a finger when EA gave the game the proverbial axe. However, while most online gaming communities fizzle out due to low traffic or just plain bad luck, what happens when a corporation decides to destroy an online community with members still active and loud and proud? Then you would have a situation like the infamous shutdown of Club Penguin in 2017 by none other than Disney themselves. Club Penguin was founded by Lance Pierby, Lane Metterfield, and Dave Crisco, three Canadian entrepreneurs who learned to code during the rise of Flash games in the early 2000s. The group wanted to create a safe and fun online environment for kids to socialize and play games, as they noted that when they were children, the early days of chat rooms and other online spaces were potentially dangerous for young children. After 2 years of development, the game officially launched in 2005 as a simple web browser game that offered some basic minigames in the style of Flash games and a few basic hangout areas where players could communicate with each other using their Penguin avatars. While in all honesty, I didn't ever play Club Penguin until long into the Disney era of the game, from what I've been told by people on r/Club Penguin and just general blog posts and dinosaur news articles I could dig up, they painted Club Penguin's first 2 years as a buggy but wholesome experience. While the minigames were basic and updates came at a snail's pace, it was clear to the people who played during these early experimental years that the trio of developers genuinely cared about the game and, more importantly, the community. The three developers continued to add new minigames and even add side attractions like pets, customizing your avatar, and some of the iconic hangout locations that were rolled out by the end of 2006, which were iconic up until the shutdown. After a mix of internal conflict and changing career paths, when the founders of Club Penguin were approached by the Walt Disney Company looking to buy Club Penguin, it was very difficult for them to refuse the offer. Disney, who would spend the next 10 years buying up other people's properties just to milk it for all they were worth, were eager to get their hands on the growing buzz around Club Penguins. While in early 2007, Club Penguin's website saw an average user base in the thousands, Disney believed that with a little bit of elbow grease and a whole lot of microtransactions, the site could potentially make Disney a mega F-ton of money. While the group was reluctant to take the deal, $350 million with an added $300 million if they hit sales goals by 2009 made the deal too sweet to pass up. And just like that, in August of 2007, Club Penguins found itself under the Disney umbrella of products. Under Disney's ownership, Club Penguin continued to grow at a pace its founders couldn't even imagine and expanded its user base to millions of accounts worldwide. In order to keep the game fresh, Disney's new development team introduced various features like minigames, pets known as Puffles, and themed parties. While this was all well and good, over the next 10 years it became increasingly obvious that Disney saw Club Penguins as a cash cow and not a community to foster like the original founders. All clothing that was previously free was immediately locked behind paywalls, and you were limited to 2 pets if you didn't have a paid account, and worst of all, you were barred from the themed parties and events, so no Star Wars or Elsa themed cosmetics for you. Because the culture of Club Penguins became more about showing off your cool cosmetics than actually making friends and playing games, the twilight years of the Club Penguin community was rather toxic from what Reddit users tell me. Whenever I played Club Penguins at my friend's house, we had to use a free account, and on numerous occasions we wanted to play a game or check out an area and complete strangers who looked like they were vomited on by a bootleg Balenciaga store and surrounded by 70 Puffles saying broke over and over again like they didn't just beg their mom an hour earlier for a credit card. This was a common occurrence, and many free users felt like they were being bullied off the site because they didn't want to pay real money for cosmetics. Your mileage may have varied depending on how active and what type of account you had, but take my word for it when I say that by the time 2015 rolled around, besides a few iconic locations from the base game and some background themes, the game was almost unrecognizable. Wild cosmetics that took up a third of your screen, open bullying and bigotry so long as you didn't swear, keep in mind, and worst of all was the rise of subgroups within Club Penguins that bullied and harassed players, formed cults, and predatory organizations based out of igloo clubhouses. Despite Club Penguins being advertised as a family-friendly game, the site was as toxic and dangerous to an impressionable mind as ever. Another weird aspect about the final years of Club Penguin was that people would roleplay as disgusting and sometimes downright illegal characters, and for some weird reason there was a trend of adults pretending to be babies outside of the Puffle shop and asking to be adopted by other players who in many cases were, yep, you guessed it, actual children. One of Club Penguin's key features features was its emphasis on safety. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the game had a robust moderation system to ensure that inappropriate language and behavior were swiftly dealt with to maintain a family-friendly atmosphere. But by the time Club Penguin entered its final years, website moderation was pushed off from real people to auto-detection systems. So as long as you didn't swear or try to blatantly hack into the site, there was a lot you could get away with. I've heard everything from blood worship cults to rumors of an illegal pedo ring being based out of Club Penguin's Igloo feature. In April of 2015, it was revealed that Disney Interactive had laid off 28 members of Club Penguin's Kelowna headquarters due to the game's declining popularity, and remaining Club Penguin devs saw the writing on the wall. The site had begun to lose money rapidly, and with the Flash software it was built on becoming outdated, when rumors of racism being fostered in Club Penguin's community made the rounds on Twitter, Disney's corporate sector saw it as the smoking gun to kill the site they had milked dry and pawn off a new crappier mobile version of Club Penguin that to this day is unplayable according to people on r/Club Penguin. On January 30th, 2017, Disney officially announced that the official Club Penguin website would be shut down indefinitely in order to make way for the ill-fated Club Penguin's Island mobile game. The final 2 months of the site being up were some of the busiest moments in the platform's history. Millions flocked to the website to look around, meet up with old friends, and maybe take one last walk down memory lane before the iceberg truly melted. Many of the still active players were outraged by the announcement, and while some players wandered around whimsically, other players grouped up in hub areas and staged mass protests begging for the site to continue. While some of these protest groups grew to over 100 members, in all reality, if one of the few moderators on payroll saw the demonstrations, they wouldn't even pay it any mind. Disney didn't care that they were shutting down a community that had thousands of daily members, they only cared about their profit margins. While moderation as a whole had taken a nosedive, the automated bots usually kept the community in line. While the final days of Club Penguin was crazy, things really cranked up to 100 however for the final 24 hours of the site being up. Named the Waddle On Party, the event took on a near-apocalyptic vibe that was only exacerbated by the sudden and mysterious stripping of site rules for the last 24 hours. I was unable to find out if this was done on purpose or by mistake, so if you have any insight on this, please leave a comment down below. The final 24 hours saw all players be given a free membership, which made half of the player base say, "Oh wow, lucky me, what am I gonna do with a 24-hour pass?" And the other half saw it as a challenge to experience as much of Club Penguins in 24 hours as they could. Streamers ran Let's Plays trying to speedrun minigames in attempts to break world records, and former vanilla accounts finally had access to premium content. Some online compared the final 24 hours of the site to a purge, since anyone could freely walk in and out of people's igloos, and there was no longer a social hierarchy of paid versus free players. But I saw it more as like the block party at the end of the world. The final hours saw the famous myth finally coming to fruition, when a group of players were able to finally flip the iceberg, a myth that had existed since the early 2010s. But for the sake of the last few hours, the devs allowed the players to finally flip the iceberg, revealing a dance floor, only adding to the party at the end of the world nature. While most players attempted to end their Club Penguin social life with some class, the sudden removal of most site-wide rules opened the floodgate for racism, trolling, and general debauchery never seen on the site before. Penguins linked up to form swastikas, and other penguins tried to convince children to give them money for access to the site after the shutdown, despite that being a complete and utter scam. But even with the partying at the end of the world aspect and rampant trolling, ironically enough, the largest group of players in the final day consisted of longtime clubs and social groups that wanted to exchange info so that way they could continue their friendships they had fostered. While web articles might try to depict the final 24 hours of Club Penguins as pure anarchy, in reality it mostly saw players gather in hub areas to silently accept their fate or make last-ditch attempts at a protest. And on March 29, 2017 at 12:01, the site just kinda ended. The music stopped and the player speech bubbles slowly stopped popping in, and bit by bit millions of players who were online were quietly booted off with the simple message of waddling on. With Club Penguin's website gone, Disney attempted to rebrand the IP as a slick mobile game that never really caught on, and an illegal ring of Club Penguin servers from people who stole code during the final 24 hours of the site would be dismantled by Disney over the following years. The sad truth is that Disney probably would have made more money if they just left Club Penguins as a website and let it continue, but Disney rather genocided an entire loyal and semi-active community of paying customers if it meant a chance at a bigger payout. Normally this would be the part of the video where I say that maybe one day Club Penguins will return, but unfortunately I find that pretty unlikely. The bastardized brand will forever be known as another IP Disney acquired and discarded once it was no longer profitable. And with that being said, that was the tale of the final 24 hours of Club Penguin and the crazy case of Disney genociding an entire fan base for money. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and feel free to leave a comment down below if you were present for the final 24 hours or have any crazy stories from when moderation went down. If you haven't already, please leave a like, because if you leave a like it lets me know that you guys want more content and it helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that way you don't miss my future game reviews, video essays, and commentary videos on whatever topic of the week has piqued my interest. I hope you all have a great day, stay safe out there, try to stay dry, and stay cool.